I was gonna go buy that motorcycle yesterday. Like that was my intention to like go get it.
Close.
And I felt so fucking shitty that like when I got home from like doing my stuff and like took a shower and like sat in bed and like the cold sheets, I was just like, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. And then I had to do PKN with Taylor. We got that knocked out. So there just wasn't any time yesterday. And then I was looking, I was like, could I do it today? I slept until 11. I went to bed last night at like midnight and slept until 11 p.m.
That's good. When you sleep a bunch, means you're hopefully
I'm
getting
sleeping
better.
so much because I'm so fucking sick. I'm really doped right now. I'm super doped up on like Dayquil. Like I drink way too much and I've got like cloudy brain right now. It's hard to like do anything. I was having such a hard time sharing that file with Zach before the show. I'm an idiot right now. But yeah, I think tomorrow I'm gonna go by and at the very least like figure out what the price would be and negotiate a bit, and also try to like bundle like all my gear with the bike and then get like an out the door price on everything. And if like that number is pretty good, I think I might just buy it and like I'm sure they'll deliver it to my house. I guess
you could break it down. Okay.
I'll start from the very beginning. So I went. What day was it? So my motorcycle training course was this past weekend. I got that done Saturday and Sunday. So on Thursday, I went and bought like helmet and gloves and boots and all that stuff. And
did you get a discount on that stuff?
Yeah, I got a 17%, 17.5% off. He said 15, and I was like, "Come on, you do better than that." He's like, "I do 17."
Good. All right.
So yeah, I got like a good bit of gear, and I think I was out the door like for like less than 700 for like helmet, boots, and gloves, and a jacket, like a pretty good jacket. I don't think it's the jacket I would wear on a long trip, but for like tooling around town at like normal speeds, like below like interstate speeds, I think it's fine. It's like a mesh thing with like padding in the shoulders and elbows and shit. Anyway, so I went to the class on Saturday. There's 8 of us in this class. 2 of them were these Puerto Rican brothers who like their English was a little like shaky. And they had never used a clutch before. Forget a motorcycle, like never used a clutch before. Like that's the first question he asked. He's like, has everyone ridden a bicycle before? No. Everybody's hands up. Who's ridden a motorcycle before? 2 hands go up. Who
was yours someone? Yeah, you've ridden one.
I didn't raise my hand because it's like
a little
you don't want to get called on.
Don't get carried away. Don't be thinking too much.
We got a wise guy in today's class.
Oh, why don't you lead the class? You're a writer. Tell everybody the do's and don'ts of taking
I'll start you off. They call them the 37
press and roll.
37 B's of driving.
Slow look, press and roll. Anyway, yeah. So you had right. You did carry on.
And finally, the clutch question came up, and like 3 or 4 of them had never operated a clutch before, including the 2 Puerto Ricans. And the instructor was awesome. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. And I think he was genuinely trying to be like a good guy. But every time he would instruct us something, he'd be like, Juan, Pablo, y'all hear me? Y'all following? like almost like they were like slow-witted or something. Like, hey, Juan and Pablo, you paying attention here? You catching all this? And for all I know, they were like lazily like looking at butterflies or something. And I couldn't tell because they got helmets.
We get it, man.
It seemed weird that he was like singling them out that much, but
they don't speak English, so it makes sense.
They spoke English. It was just like,
just badly.
I speak 100% English. We all do here, right? Maybe good. 105. Reneg, and but these guys, that's a word. These guys spoke like 97% English. Let's just say that. Like every now and then you'd be like, you weren't all the way there.
That's an A+.
So, and we've got to do that thing where like in high school where each person reads a page out of the book, right? And that's when you really see who's who. Because, like, not to pat myself on the shoulder here, but I can read aloud. and the guy sitting across from me, like, reminded me of, like, Woody. He's, like, about Woody's age. He's an engineer who, like, runs, like, building sites in Atlanta. He's some sort of a software architect before that. So, like, he does something with, like, the infrastructure, the internet infrastructure that's going in these buildings,
sounds like a man who can read aloud.
Yeah. Man can fucking read aloud, and I've never seen note taking like this. Like he took notes like it was the calculus final the nethis day, and I'm like, dude, this is 25 multiple choice questions, and he, let's be real, he's giving us the answers. All this stuff we highlighted, those are the answers. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Like,
yeah, when you're braking, when you're braking behind a semi, how many feet? What do you think? What do you see? when you're behind a semi? What do you see when you're behind a semi?
You want to be careful on
You don't
question
see
number 3.
aardvarks or bumblebees.
It was kind of like that. I missed one question, and frankly, I think it went over on the second day when I was so tired and out of it that I was just not even paying attention anymore. I figured I
can't be the only one wondering. Do you remember what you got wrong?
Yeah, it was when you have a passenger on your motorcycle, you should do blank. And one of the possible answers was communicate with them whenever you're going to like do a thing. Like, hey, if like let them know that you're going to turn or stop or something. And I thought that was the answer, but apparently the correct answer was to adjust the tire pressure and suspension. And
Seems like you should let them know what's up.
I thought so, but I was wrong. But it doesn't matter if you make a 70 or a 96. It's a driver's test, right?
Yeah.
And but anyway, this class is $425. We're riding all day, like 5-6 hours of actual on motorcycle time the first day in the hot ass sun, sweating my ass off, drenched. 3 hours in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Day 2 comes around. 3 of the guys don't show the fuck back up, including the 2.
Juan and Pablo weren't there.
Juan and Pablo, who had driven from Chattanooga down to Fayetteville, Georgia, which I don't know, 3.5 hours, something like that.
Good haul.
3.5, 4 hours, something like that.
So
did not show up.
They failed the test. That means.
Well, they didn't even get to the test is day 2.
Oh, that was day 2.
Oh, the written was also day 2.
Yeah, first thing in the morning on day 2, and we gave them an hour. We waited an hour for them to show up.
Damn.
Like I said, this guy's really nice. On day 1, one guy didn't bring boots. And he's like, "What size do you wear?" And the guy's like 10.5. He's like, "All right, let's swap shoes." Like the fucking.
He's
instructor.
really nice. This is a nice instructor.
I went to the DMV today to get my license, and they were like, "It's not going through. It says you haven't taken your written exam." And I'm like, "Hang on a second." And I call this guy on the phone, put him on speaker, and he like walks her through the system, how her new they've got a new DDS system in place, and he warned us that sometimes the new people wouldn't be able to use it. He's like, "Just call me, put me on speakerphone, and I'll get something done. And if I got to call down to Conyers and get the fucking Grand Poobah on the phone, I will." And sure enough, like I put him on there, and he's just like, I don't know, he bitches her out and like sets her straight and gets my license.
Wow.
So anyway, got my license early this morning, and my intention was just to go straight to the dealership and buy this bike, and then drive home, Uber back, ride it home. And the bike is $7,700, which includes like a $300 destination fee. Mm-hmm. And obviously I'm aware that taxes are going to be there, and I assume there'd be some kind of a dealer fee, like maybe $500 to $1,000. The first numbers he shows me, he's just like, "All right, and this will be your interest rate, and that's your down payment, and 72 months." And I'm like, 72 months? Let's do like 12 months or 20. I'm like,
fucking Woody's age when this bike is paid off.
I'm like, first of all, I'm not paying this bike for 6 fucking years. Like, let's do 12 to 36 months somewhere in there, wherever like the lowest interest rate is amongst those those rates. But second of all, where's the out the door price? Like, you've just shown me a monthly payment. Like, I'm supposed to agree to that? I'm like,
6 years at how much?
I just started doing some math here, and I'm gonna paying like $16,000 for this motorcycle. I'm like, no. So like he goes back and still doesn't come back with the out the door price, even though that's the reason he left. And I'm like, no. I want the out the door price broken down, MSRP, and like whatever else you're plugging in here. And it turns out they have $2,100 worth of nonsense on top of MSRP.
So is that like dealer fees you said you were anticipating?
So like I'm gonna get like what they call them, and like the varied amounts incorrect a little bit along the way, but roughly there was like a $500 crate fee, which is like getting it there, and I'm like no. There's a $300 fee for destination, and it's in the MSRP, and then there was like a $300 or $400 assembly fee, like taking it out of the crate and putting it together, which is like that's nonsense.
I don't know about the amount, because I think mine was $250.
Yeah,
but an assembly fee is typical.
It's typical. I've seen how they come in those crates. You got to put the handlebars, and you got to put the bike together a little bit. And then there was a documentation fee that was $200 to $400, and then there was obviously tax tag and title. That's expected. That's common. And then there was something else.
But sometimes tax tag and title is like $600, and you're like, whoa. You have a secretary do 12 of these things at one time. Why are you charging me $600?
Yeah, I think they were only charging like $50 for the title, which is like standard, I guess, more or less. It could have been if they'd been 25, I would have thought that was more appropriate. But I'll pay you $25 extra. But yeah, there was $2,100 worth of extras on there, and I was just like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I was like, I sold cars for years. I'd sell a $70,000 car, and the fee would be $600. I get that that's been a little while ago, but where are they now? $1,200? I'm buying a $7,700 motorcycle, and it's $2,100 on top of the thing. And he's like, well, we don't sell cars here. We sell fun.
We sell fun. What an asshole.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I
don't
like
a
it.
motorcycle guy. Have him come kick the shit out of him.
So I was like, well, I'm not going to buy any fun here. I was like, give me your best out the door price. And that's what I just quoted to you. I think they were willing to come off like $200 or something like that. And it's just like, no, we're done here. So I just walked out. I don't plan to do business with them. I do plan on buying a motorcycle this week, though.
Let me jump in. Does he have your phone number?
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's the walk out the door and then they call you and say, oh, Kyle, we just wanted to make sure you were serious about walking out. We have a new price for you. But they haven't called
that's okay.
Yet.
If anybody wants to leave a Google review for Freedom Power Sports over in McDonough, Georgia, though, I'm sure they
actually got Mr. Suzuki on the line. And he said we can knock that down.
No, because I actually thought that might be the second half of this story, that they call you back and say, we have new pricing for you.
That would be very odd because like when I was selling cars, like, God, you don't let them get out of the dealership. Like maybe you let them stand up, but it's like, hey, we work this out. Yeah, let me go talk to somebody about this. Maybe we can get Mr. Suzuki on the line.
Yeah.
Like you tell whatever lie you got to have. But I think that's just
okay.
Well, like maybe the market is like so good right now that that's just what they're doing. I just wish they'd be like, yeah, we're selling our motorcycles at a $1,500 premium plus a $500 docking fee. Like if that was like on the thing, I'd be like, shit, is everybody doing that? Like, can I get $500 off? And I'd have probably agreed to that. Like,
yeah, they tried to bamboozle you.
Yeah,
I didn't like the dishonesty.
I hate that it took you multiple tries to get the out the door price.
Yeah,
because that's a term that people know what that means. What's the out the door price? He comes back with another monthly payment. Like, oh fuck shit. I asked for something specific. You went back there and you didn't return with it. Now I feel like you're trying to scam me. And
oh, absolutely, it's fully a scam. Like there's no way I'm paying whatever it was, $10,200 for a $7,500 motorcycle. It just seems like nonsense. So
he needs to be. I'm sorry to cut off it. Like,
no, you're good.
There are times in this world when it's like, you know what, the brand new Corvettes just dropped. We can't keep them in stock. They're selling for over MSRP. Like that's a thing that happens sometimes.
I mean, it was the only one there. Like, it's not like they had a row of SV650s. If he had told me that, I'd be like, hey, just so you know, like, it's going to cost like $10,000 out the door for this bike because we've got one. I don't know if you looked around. There's a lot
two of
around.
these in Georgia. This is half of them. That's the market. Welcome to COVID. If he had said that, maybe it'd be different.
It would have been a different story. I'd have bought the bike, but I felt like they were kind of greasy and dishonest about the whole thing. And the manager didn't come to speak to me, so I don't want to do business with them.
So Kyle, we were saying before the show, I don't really care about motorcycles too much, but the fervor and excitement that you and Woody have in our group chat, just talking about it, is like, I'm glad they found something they like so much. Like, that's good. And you passed your test, smartest in class, and
tied for smartest. Yes.
From like how long did it take from like the first takeoff with the license, real motorcyclist, to the crash?
12 minutes. 12 minutes. It took me 12 minutes to crash. Well, I guess we should start from the beginning, though. But I like that we did that thing that like movies do now, where they start with the part where like some awful shit happens, and they're like 3 days earlier. Yeah. You're like, go back to the crash. Go back to the crash. So if you guys watched PKN, I got my motorcycle license, went to from the DMV after I passed my MSF course, and I went to go buy a new motorcycle at my local dealership, and I'm not going to trash them anymore. I trashed that dealership pretty hard during PKN, but since then, the owner of like the whole chain of stores has called me on my phone, and me and him talked it out, and I think they're going to retrain that salesperson. and try to make sure that doesn't happen to anybody
He's
else.
gonna get retrained at Wendy's. That's what's gonna happen.
I need to jump in with there was a roast of me that I thought was amazingly good. And so it goes like this. Kyle was negotiating with the man. They had thousands of dollars in add-on fees.
Over 2,000 in like dealer fees. Yeah.
Like the documentation fee, the assembly fee, that like the stuff that the dealer kind of makes up on their own, thousands. So Kyle walked away, not out of cash, just not wanting to be anybody's fool.
Not ripping me off. Not happening.
Right. You know, I'm nobody's victim. Cool. So as Kyle was doing this, he explained, I used to sell cars, and this is the kind of add-on fees that we would have. Yours is out of this world. And the guy goes, well, we don't sell cars. We sell fun. The reviews poured in. Guys like, you sell type 3 fun.
Yeah. The Google reviews on their thing are hilarious. Some guys like, I came there for type 1 fun. I would have settled for type 2 fun. But no, this is type 3 fun that you sell here, sir. And I'm not buying. And then one guy was like, this is Jordy McGravy here. I came in to buy a gold wing the cup holders were far too small. The cup holders were far too small for my Wendy's chili. Walked out on the spot. Type 3 fun. But like
just 1-star reviews all over this board.
Lots of 1-star reviews. So like I guess that got back to like the guy who owns like the whole chain of stores. Yeah. And they had my cell phone number because I'd done a credit application and everything. And I had already purchased a new motorcycle by the time he called me. And he's like, hey, how can we make this right? After I explained everything that happened. And I wasn't like douchey on the phone with him. I was trying to be real professional about it and like, explain to him like my side of the thing and be nice about it. And he was very professional as well. So I did appreciate him calling me and, apologizing for like everything that went down. I have no ill will toward him or his company at all. And I hope you guys don't either. It's really just that one salesperson whose name I don't even remember who probably just had a bad day or just isn't a very good salesperson or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to address that.
Or you thought you were just like a rube that just fell off a turnip cart and was going to take advantage of you.
I don't know. Maybe.
Clearly not. Like, you don't give off that vibe. I feel like you would walk into a car dealership authoritatively because you're like, I know all I'm a gunslinger. I know, you're trying to pull that? I used to pull that. Yeah. That's an area. That's one of those little areas of expertise that I have. Like I'm looking at this paper and I'm just like, come on, what are you doing to me? Like this isn't going to work. Like let's move on to like the type 2 fun at least, but anyway, after I talked about all that on PKN, Zach pointed out to me that someone had posted a comment on the PKN YouTube video that said, hey, I'm at I want to get the name of the dealership right. I know it, but I want to make 100% sure I'm getting it right. It's in Conyers. I think this is a different dealership.
Yeah.
Do you need the PKN link? Do you want me to help you?
No. It has nothing to do with that. I'm just going to Google.
Okay.
And this is a good one.
But he posted a comment on there, and he's over in Conyers. It's Conyers Mountain Motorsports. It's a dealership that's like a little over an hour from me. And but he posted a comment on PKN that said, "Hey, come here and we'll make you a good deal." So I was just like, I just had woke up when I saw that. And I was like, shit, let's go. So I took a shower, got dressed, and I drove all the way up to Conyers. And as soon as I walked in, it was a completely different experience. And not because I'm Kyle or whatever. It they have a receptionist there who's immediately like, hey, welcome to Conyers Motorsports. How can I help you? And she's just like, I don't know. I think I want to buy a bike today. Oh, good for you. It's like a really nice lady. And then like a completely different salesperson who doesn't know who I am comes over and he's super nice. And he's like, immediately, he's like, a naked street bike, mid-sized. All right, we got 3 great options for you. And he's like running me through the 3 options. Like he immediately narrows down what I'm looking for, directs me to the 3 best options for what I'm trying to achieve. And then starts contrasting and comparing really effectively, telling me things I didn't know about these bikes. And I've done a lot of research, but I still didn't know this stuff. And it was awesome. I was like, this is so much better. I'm going to buy a motorcycle from this man. And we settled on the Honda. I want to get the name right. Is it the CBR?
No,
this is a CB, right? CB 650
ABS.
Yeah, it's 650 ABS. It's fucking sick, beautiful motorcycle. And I'd already decided like, I'm going to buy this motorcycle. And then like a couple more guys walk over and they're like, you're Kyle. And I'm like, yeah. We've been trying to get a hold of you. We've had our general manager calling the other store that you dealt with. They will not give your number up, by the way. We've been doing this and that and looking everywhere. We're so glad you're here. And so I dealt with Dustin, who is a patron, and Dustin works with the internet sales team there in Conyers. And his partner there was like, hey, if you're going to mention that anybody made this happen, it's the internet sales team at Conyers. Okay. All right. I'll let them know. I'll let them know that you're the people responsible. And so I dealt with those two guys, mostly Dustin. Dustin like came over, like ran my credit, presented me the numbers. He's like, as you can see, this is the out the door price.
For people who don't know the previous story, the other dealership really hid the out the door price. And even when Kyle asked for it, they came back with monthly payments at least once or twice. So it felt a little sneaky.
Yeah. And that's like, I've sold cars. That's what you do when you're trying to be sneaky. You know, you're like, hey, here's $400 a month for 3,000 years. Go ahead and sign right there. Your ancestors will pay this Honda off in no time.
It's like a student loan. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, and in my case, I don't care at all how much the monthly payment is. I mean, obviously I don't want to pay $2,000 a month for a motorcycle. That's absurd. But like anywhere between $100 and $300 a month, which all makes sense, I'm fine. Cause it depends on the rate and it depends on the term. And I don't care. I care about the out the door price. I care about not getting ripped off. So they gave me a great deal there. You know, there was a small dealer fee, like a very acceptable dealer fee, the kind of thing that I'm accustomed to and that I've seen before. And I walked out. I was just like, yeah, that all looks good. I bought the bike, went through finance, you know, standard finance thing. I was like, you know, I don't think I really need a warranty. No
Did they
problem.
try and push it on you, or were you like an VIP where they're like, don't fuck with this guy?
No,
he's gonna make fun of us on his show. I should have done this with the fucking contractors. God damn.
That's her job, right? You know, like that's her job is to try to sell a warranty, and I think in some cases, depending on who you are and like what you're doing, like maybe a warranty is a good idea. But for me, it just wasn't great because I'm kind of handy. Like I've got a little bit of a mechanical issue with the bike right now that I caused that I'm gonna fix this evening or in the morning. And you know, I really didn't feel like I needed a warranty. So, but I let her do her whole spiel. You know, maybe there's something I hadn't heard of before, some new kind of warranty that I might be interested in. But they did want. What was the thing he told me to tell you guys? Because this is kind of cool. They'll give you guys a discount if you go and mention my name.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. If you go to Conyers, I keep forgetting the name.
They have to mention your. They know
Conyers Mountain. Conyers Mountain Motorsports. If you go in there and tell them, you know, Kyle or FPS Russia or whatever, they'll give you $200 off, like whatever you buy. But I really enjoyed my experience.
I'm getting a $200 helmet.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they mean motorcycles. I just specify that.
You're gonna drive 7 hours.
I'd like these $130 boots. I'll take that $70 in cash.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they mean motorbikes and you know, probably Polaris and ATVs and shit like that. But I really appreciated the whole situation. We got the bike delivered that day, and so I got, you know, the bike shows up, and I'm like ready to go. I'm like, just park it by the mailbox because I'm gonna go get my gear on, and I'm going out riding. So like, I immediately get on the bike after they leave, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'd sat on it already, but like once I start operating the clutch and riding, I'm like, this is different.
This is powerful.
So Kyle rode light and easier to ride 250cc motorcycles in his training course. If you guys don't know, he took this weekend long training course from the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. It's a good way to get your license and how to, you know, they learn to ride a bike. They teach you smart things.
Yeah, we rode 8 hours the first day and like 3 or 4 hours the next day. Like all day we're riding. And but we're on these smaller bikes, and they're like the traditional style bikes that kind of look like a Harley with like the teardrop tanks and kind of low and saddle seats. And I bought a sport bike or something close to it anyway.
A naked sport bike, I think is what it would be called.
Yeah. And so immediately I'm like, oh, this is different. We're sitting up a little bit higher. The handlebars are nice and narrow. And when I fucking rev this bitch up, it's a 4-cylinder bike. And it sounds completely different from the little thing I was putting around on. It's so angry. The motorcycle's so fucking angry. It's like, you ready to do this, Kyle? Because I'm ready to fucking go. And I'm just like, nah, man, no, let's take it. Let's just chill out. No, let's go. It's just it's so hyped up.
You went from like a lab to a pit bull.
I'm in first gear, and this bike is just like, let's fucking go. It wants to be in sixth gear at 8,000, 9,000 RPMs or something. Like it wants it so bad. And I'm just like, I want to putt around. Let's putt around. So I go on this little ride, and immediately I'm feeling a little awkward. I'm like, I'm not afraid, but I'm like, I feel stiff. I feel stiff. Like I really should have taken it to a big parking lot so I could have like wiggled it around and gotten used to it and really like leaned it over and found what was going on. I made it down the road. I drove 60 miles per hour all the way to where I was going through some light curves, nothing where I had to like really lean over anything, just some like light leaning, just like this sort of thing. Easy, slow curves, through some stoplights, through traffic, through like a downtown area. I had no problem with any of that. But then when I got to like the end of my journey, I had to make this left turn with traffic oncoming and a car already in the intersection that I was going into. So I have to go like, there's a car parked here and I have to come and go around that car and up a hill. And they had left me, they were like on the line. So I had slightly less space and I didn't make it. I did this. You're supposed to look at where you want the bike to go. So I should have had my head turned over here and like not worried about what was directly in front of the tire. But instead I was just like, I just got tunnel vision and looked straight ahead. And that's where I went. I went straight past the car. I hit like a big mud hole that's off road here. Kind of like started coming off the bike, revved the bike up crazy, and like the bike falls over. I fall over. Now I'm laying on the asphalt.
Was it an enormous scene that you made?
It was a medium scene.
How many people saw you? How many?
Two carloads of people like got a real good look. They were sitting there. They were just like sitting right there. And they were kind enough, like not to. They just like, I'm sure they were like, "What if he's going to die?" But then there's the oncoming traffic who's like sliding by right past me.
So you're at an intersection making a left, and there's cars sort of parked to your side. So were you at a standstill when this sort of scenario started?
I don't remember. I think I was sort of like at like 10 miles per hour. Like
I was
sitting
at a red light, and then it was
I had gotten into like a turning lane, and I was kind of trying to like a rolling start into the turn. I don't think I started from a stop. It worked out that I didn't have to stop in the middle of the road. I wanted to avoid that, and I just didn't make it. I hit the fucking ground pretty fucking hard, but I had all my gear on and like didn't feel a thing.
What do you think you landed on?
Asphalt.
What part of your body did you landed on?
My left hip hit, and probably like my shoulder, like probably my, I didn't put my hands out because I don't know. I've got this thing I built into my head long ago about like breaking your hands, like if you catch yourself like that. So I always try to catch myself with forearms and shoulders and stuff when I actually do take a tumble, and I've taken a few doing the stupid shit I've done throughout life. And so I caught myself with mostly like shoulders and forearm and my left hip, which is all like areas of my body with like thick like padding and armor on them. So I didn't feel a thing. And I made sure not to bounce my helmet off the ground because I didn't want to spend another $400. And yeah, I immediately like jumped up, looked at the cars and went, well, I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen 10 minutes into the ownership, but here we are.
You got like your whole visor down, so you're just like, you don't know who I am. And then you just drive away.
They had dark tinted windows, and I've got my visor down, and I'm like, this is saving me a lot of embarrassment right now because like I bet they're in there, like there's children
just like lying. Oh, this is my first day on the motorcycle.
There's probably like children in there, like, Mom, that man retarded? Yes, honey.
Well, he is now. Did you see his head bounce off the pavement?
And then I had to like get the bike back up, right? And it's not laying on asphalt. It's laying like in a mud hole. So I've got to it's 470 pounds, I think. And then, plus fuel, I don't know, 3 gallons is 24 pounds.
It's heavy.
Did you do the thing where you like put your back to it and kind of deadlift, or did you just grab the handlebars like a bicycle and ride it?
I considered the thing you just suggested, but I was like, I want it up now. And so I just deadlifted the bike and like popped it up super easily. Probably had a little adrenaline going because it felt like nothing. It felt like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And got it up, got on it, got it started. And rode through I was just like, we're going now, and just like rode through the mud hole, over the curb, like up the hill, made the next 2 turns.
There you go.
And
2 for 3.
And I pull into Kitty's yard, and I get off, fucking park the bike, examine myself, examine the bike. Bike's fine. The handlebar's a little wonky now. I gotta like straighten those out. Nothing's bent. It's just there's some bolts that need to be loosened. Straighten it back out. You tighten the bolts back up. I just talked to a Honda technician on the phone. Thanks to Dustin again. Big help from that guy. And when the handlebars came in, I dented the tank slightly, but I don't give a shit about that. It's a super tiny dent. It's not like creased or anything. I think I'm the only one who will ever notice it, and I'll probably get it popped out anyway. And that's about it as far as damages to the bike. The bike's got these like sliders on the side, which I'm sure kept the nicer parts of the bike from hitting anything. So, I mean, I was going to fall. I told him when I bought it, I'm like, I'm going down. Like, this is happening. I was like,
of course,
this is happening. And he's like, well, you never know. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm going to drop this thing this week and next week and the week after that. The only question is how fast I'm going when I'm doing it, and if someone hits me when I do it.
Yeah, little did you know it would be later that day.
I mean, I figured it could be. It could be. I'm going to ride tomorrow. I expect to fall.
You think it'll be easy to, like, you sent the video in our group chat of everything seems fine other than the kind of wonky on your steering. That'll be just a quick like whoop whoop whoop.
I think it's the 4 bolts right there by the
it's deceptive. It's actually
find
2
a way
bolts.
to share that.
Yeah, it's actually 2 bolts, not 4. It's 4 on top, but it's 2 on the bottom. So I think that's like a clamp that you're looking at. But yeah, I'm going to. The technicians seem to think that loosen the 2 bolts on the bottom, straighten the handlebars out, and it'd be all good.
Well, that's good. I mean, and part of it is like you're probably a little less afraid of falling now that you got one out of the way.
No, I'm more afraid.
You're more afraid.
Oh yeah, more afraid for sure. Yeah, definitely more afraid. Yeah.
Because like you saw the potential for danger at such like a reasonable speed on a reasonable.
Yeah, I could have died there. If like because the cars were coming like right next to me because like I turned across a lane of traffic and that lane was busy and continuing. And when I got the bike straightened up, it rolled backwards a little bit before I grabbed the front brake, and it almost rolled with me into traffic. And then I would have died.
It would be tragic if you died, but it would be kind of funny if you were talking about it on Tuesday and then before the show on Thursday, you're dead.
So that's Kyle's bike, and that's 2 bolts, which surprises me, but okay. And everything in that picture is in alignment except for kind of the handlebars and the clamp. So Kyle says nothing's bent; it just needs to sort of be loosened, put back together. Yeah,
so it's I don't know what you're looking at. I see those 4 things up there that look like bolts, but they're just smooth. On the bottom, you have 2 bolts that are like sticking through, and 2 nuts and with washers that attach to them. So there's probably more to that mechanism than meets the eye, but 2 bolts on the bottom should get it loose enough to turn. And if that doesn't, I've watched those videos about getting the yoke like straightened out too. Just those hex, I think they're 20 or 22 millimeter hex bolts. But I went to go buy some wrenches a minute ago because I don't have metric wrenches here, but I forgot my wallet. So I didn't have enough time. I slept all day today. I was up all night last night playing poker in the $50 Discord with the boys, and didn't make it. So I'll go later, get it straightened out. And because I plan to ride some tomorrow, I got nothing else going on. I'm gonna hit up a big parking lot, and I'm gonna practice my turns.